There's a psychological reason you probably can't remember most of last Tuesday. Not because your memory is bad, not because nothing happened, but because your brain quietly decided that day wasn't important enough to keep. Now, imagine that happening. Not to one day, but to months, then years. Some people reach their 40s wondering where life went. Not because they weren't alive, but because they stopped truly noticing they were living it. If you've ever felt like your days are repeating, your decisions happen on autopilot, or you're watching your own life instead of fully participating in it, this isn't just a feeling, it's a psychological mystery. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your own mind the same way again. Before we go any further, try something. Without looking around, name the 5 objects closest to your left hand. Go ahead. Most people can't. Not because those objects are hidden, but because your brain stopped paying attention to them a long time ago. Right now, your mind is filtering thousands of sights, sounds, and sensations. If it didn't, even walking across a room would feel overwhelming. So your brain constantly asks one question: have I seen this before? If the answer is yes, it spends less attention on it. That's incredibly useful. Until one day, the thing you've stopped noticing is your own life. Have you ever driven somewhere and barely remembered the journey? Walked into a room and forgotten why? Unlocked your phone, locked it, then unlocked it again without thinking? Those aren't random glitches, they're clues. And they all point toward the same hidden system. Imagine your life is a theater when you're a child. You're the lead actor. Everything is new. Every scene demands your attention. Every moment feels vivid. But after enough repetition, something strange happens. An understudy begins learning your lines. At first, they only replace you for tiny scenes: brushing your teeth, walking to work, making coffee. Then they learn bigger scenes: your commute, your routines, even the way you greet people. Eventually, the understudy knows almost the entire performance. The audience can't tell the difference. Neither can you. Psychologists call this automaticity. It's your brain turning repeated behaviors into habits that require far less conscious effort. Without it, everyday life would be exhausting. Your brain isn't trying to take control away from you. It's trying to conserve mental energy. But here's the question nobody asks. What happens when your most meaningful moments become so familiar that the understudy performs those too? The problem isn't that your brain automates behavior. The problem is what happens when almost everything important starts feeling familiar. Think about the room you're sitting in. How many objects have you completely stopped noticing? Not because they disappeared, because your brain decided they weren't worth paying attention to anymore. Attention is limited. Your brain protects it by filtering out what seems predictable. That same filtering can shape how days feel in hindsight. When many days follow similar patterns, they often leave fewer distinctive memories than days filled with novelty or meaningful change. The days didn't disappear. Your attention simply had fewer reasons to mark them as special. Maybe that's why time seems to move faster as we get older. Not because the clock speeds up, but because fewer days stand apart from the rest. The frightening part isn't that your brain automates your actions. It's that if you never interrupt those patterns, entire chapters of life can feel compressed into a blur when you look back. So how do you know you're awake instead of simply following the script? Tomorrow, do one small thing differently. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Take another route home. Sit somewhere you've never sat before. Ask someone a question you've never asked. Notice what happens. Your attention sharpens. Time seems to slow down. Tiny details return. Not because the world changed, because your attention did. The goal isn't to reject routines. Routines make life possible. The goal is to stop letting routines perform the moments that matter most. Here's one last experiment. Pause for a second and look around the room you're in. How many things have been there for months, yet you haven't truly seen until now? The room didn't change. Your attention did. Maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. Feeling like an NPC doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean someone else is controlling your life. It means your brain became remarkably efficient at predicting what came next. Efficiency is a gift, but awareness is what makes a life feel lived. The scariest part about becoming an NPC isn't that someone else starts controlling your story. It's that one day, you forget you were ever the main character. The good news? Main characters don't have to wait for someone else to rewrite the script. They simply decide to become present for the next scene. And once you realize your brain can quietly automate your habits, a much bigger mystery appears. What if it can also shape who you trust, the personalities you imitate, the opinions you defend, and even the memories you swear are accurate? We'll uncover those hidden systems next.